Peace, everybody. It's Ben. Welcome back to another yoga practice. Today's going to be a nice full body practice, and the intention for this one is to be great preparation for whatever physical activity that you might have coming up next. So whether you're preparing to sit in a chair and work all day, whether you're preparing to go to another workout or another physical activity, this class is just going to loosen things up and create total body awareness so that you can feel good as you do that next thing. I know for me, I'm about to go play pickleball in a little bit, believe it or not. It's actually going to be my first time playing pickleball, and so I knew I just had to stretch it out a little bit, create some strength and awareness into the body. That way I'm not going to twist some ankle or tear something in my knee, because I don't know, we're only 28 years old now, but I feel like my knees are like 52, so we got to loosen things up before we hit these pickleball courts. Anyways, I got 2 blocks here with me, but you don't need anything but yourself. Let's go ahead and start right into downward facing dog. And as you get into your down dog, as always, I encourage some movement. I encourage you to modulate the energy around. And just seeing how you're feeling today. If it's the morning, feel your body waking up. Or if you're like me and you're in the afternoon, just feel where you might have developed a little bit of tension over the course of the day so far. And when you're ready, tiptoe the feet up to the top of the mat, finding a forward fold. Option to do whatever you want with the arms, whether it's pressing the backs of your hands into the mat, stretching the wrists, or maybe it's binding the hands in some way. What can be nice, especially in this first forward fold, is to toggle the weight forward and back between the heels and the toes. The heels and the toes. That way we're not locking ourselves out to one part of our hamstrings being stretched or one part of our feet. Finding awareness with the floor. We're finding a little bit of holistic nature, and you could even bring the feet wider, bring the feet closer, and then allow the head to drop a little bit deeper. Keep a bend in the knees to allow yourself to hinge. Find a halfway lift from here, but really extend into the halfway lift. Lengthen through the spine, crown of the head reaches forward. Take an inhale. Exhale, let it go, forward fold. Step the left foot all the way back, drop the left knee down, and reach the arms up to the sky. Find a lunge. From the lunge, reach the hands behind your back, interlace your fingertips, and pull the knuckles down. Lift the chest, take an inhale. Exhale, release the hands, fingertips to the ground, long pyramid pose. Pull the hips back, straighten the legs. Stay here for a few breaths. The action is straightening out the right leg, but certainly you can keep a bend in there. At least a micro bend makes it a little more controllable. And then if you're looking at the screen, you'll notice I'm shifting my back left ankle up and down, up and down, up and down. So creating a little bit of movement within the posture. Once again, just to bring more variety into the range of movement for the body. From here, start to bend into the right knee. Left hand comes down, left knee drops down. Circle into your lizard lunge, quad stretch. Now, just as a reminder, you can do this even if you can't quite get the bind today. Maybe that's when you bring a block in, or maybe you just do the pose without the bind, because you get all the same benefits. You still get the quad stretch, you still get the open shoulders. Take an inhale. Exhale, release that foot. Bring both hands to the ground. Come into a lifted lizard lunge. So lift the back knee off the mat and then sway forward and back a few times. Stay onto the fingertips if you can. And then rotate the back heel down to the mat and crawl the fingertips out in front of you, almost off the left side, top left corner of the mat, and let the hips drop back in space. And then from here, crawl all the way to the back of the mat, Skandasana lunge, bending into the left knee, shifting the hips in that direction. From your Skandasana lunge, begin to shift forward and come into your first balance of the practice, Warrior 3. So you have to rotate the right toes to face forward once again, and then float up into your balancing Warrior 3. You can always keep fingertips to blocks or float the hands up to heart center. Let's take an inhale. On the exhale, take a Shiva squat. Bend both knees, bring the left knee in. This is where we're creating strength and control. From the Shiva squat, rise up to stork. Left knee pulls into the chest, arms to the sky. Take an inhale. Exhale back to Warrior 3. Bring the hands to the ground. Bring the left foot to the ground, three-legged dog. Right foot reaches up to the sky, and then bend the knee, open the hip. You can stay there, or if you want to flip the dog, flip the dog. My friends, I know we're getting right into it in today's practice, but that's because I want to leave time towards the end of the class for longer stretches without making the class super long. Anyways, come back to downward facing dog. And then from downward facing dog, look forward, bend the knees, and then walk or hop the feet to the top of the mat. As you get to the top of the mat, take a chair pose, reach the arms up. From chair pose, rise to the toes, sink all the way down to the heels, into a little toe stand. Toe stand is a wonderful posture to work on your ankle mobility, as well as really the flexion of the knees and the hips, which really is something that we're doing in any really sport or activity. Oop, you might lose balance a little bit. That's okay. Then from here, a little challenge, rise all the way up to standing on your tippy toes, and then drop the heels back down. Shake out the legs a couple times. And then when you're ready, top of the mat, inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down. And this time, right foot steps all the way back. Right knee drops down, arms to the sky, take your lunge. As you elevate, circle the arms behind your low back. Just like last time, try to get opposite thumb on top, and then pull the knuckles down. Find an opening through the chest. Take an inhale. Exhale, fingertips to the mat. Long pyramid pose. Give yourself a couple breaths to modulate here. I encourage movement through both ankles, actually. Maybe you create like a seesaw type effect. And we start to notice when we move things around in these poses, how much of a different sensation can be experienced through a small change in what we normally do. From here, bend into the left knee, drop the right knee down. Reach the left arm up to the sky, and take your twisted lizard lunge. And then an option, of course, to take it into your quad stretch. Open the chest, maybe come onto the right fingertips, find a little more lift, find a little more opening across the chest. Inhale here. Exhale, release the foot. Come into this lifted lizard lunge position. So tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then rotate the right heel down to the mat and crawl the fingertips off the top right edge of the mat. Work a little bit deeper into the hips, and then crawl yourself into a Skandasana lunge, back of the mat. From your Skandasana lunge, begin to shift forward, warrior three, first balance of the day. Turn the left toes to face forward, shift, and then lift. Try to keep breathing. Shiva squat. Bring the right knee into tap behind the left knee. Sink as low as you prefer, and then rise all the way to stork. Right knee into the chest. Nice, everybody. From here, back to warrior three. Right leg reaches even further than the last one. Bring the hands to the ground, step the right foot back, and then left leg opens to the sky, three-legged dog. Bend the knee to open at the hip, and then flip your dog if you choose to do so. Let's all meet in downward facing dog. And then from downward facing dog, let's inhale, shift into a plank position. Exhale, take chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, step the right foot through it to the top of the mat. Drop the back knee down. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, interlace fingers behind your back. Inhale, pull the knuckles down, lift the chest. Exhale, release the hands down, fold into pyramid pose. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Twisted lizard lunge. Inhale, raise the right arm all the way up and around. Exhale, embrace the twist. One more inhale here. Exhale, release the foot. Skandasana, back of the mat. Crawl your way there. Take your time with it. And then warrior three. Begin to shift forward. Adjust your stance. Toes face forward. Find the balance and then find strength in Shiva squat. It's our moment of stability. Stork pose, knee into the chest. Warrior 3, swing it back. Bring your hands to the ground, three-legged dog with the right foot threading up to the sky. Option to flip the dog, or just use your strength and balance to stay in three-legged dog. From here, close it off right to plank pose this time. From plank to chaturanga, to up dog on your in breath, down dog on the out breath. Inhale, left leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, step left foot through and drop the back knee. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Exhale, interlace fingers behind the back. Inhale, pull the knuckles down to lift through the heart. Exhale, release the hands down, fold over your left leg for pyramid. Inhale, stay here, maybe a halfway lift, lengthen slightly through the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, twisted lizard lunge. Open through the left shoulder. Stay here on the exhale. Stay here on the inhale. Exhale, release your foot and begin to head to Skandasana, back of the mat. Start to breathe at your own pace. And then begin to crawl your way forward. Warrior 3 is where we're headed. Find the balance. And then find the Shiva squat. Stork pose, knee into chest. Warrior 3, swing it back. Hands to the ground, three-legged dog, left foot to the sky. Flip the dog. If you want to, maybe you find a wild thing. Just find something that feels interesting. Or something that just feels nice. And then close it off, and then your optional vinyasa from there. So option to go through your chaturanga and your upward facing dog. All right, let's add on slightly. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, step through. Drop the back knee. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, bind behind your back. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, pyramid fold over your right leg. Inhale, lizard lunge with the twist. Stay here on the exhale. Stay on the inhale. Exhale, bring your hands down. Skandasana lunge, back of the mat. We'll start to move a little bit slower as we focus on our stability series. Shift forward, warrior 3. From your warrior 3, Shiva squat, tap it in. These Shiva squats, as we head to stork pose, lift up into the chest. Shiva squats are nice. They prepare us for squats, anything else. And then send it back, warrior 3. Bring your hands to the ground, lift the right leg to the sky, three-legged dog. From three-legged dog, a little challenge, come into side plank on your left hand. So keep the keep the right leg floating as you shift into side plank. I know that's a tough one. And then from side plank, right knee pulls into the chest, step all the way through warrior 2. Rotate the left heel down, rise up and spread the arms. Whew. All right, give yourself the chance to breathe, my friends. Slow it down for a second. We're moving and grooving as usual. Come back into your own personal rhythm. From warrior 2, slowly head to triangle pose. Try to keep lots of length. Feel the hips bump backwards so that your heart can reach forward as you hinge. And then we're here in Trikonasana. I'm going to go ahead and grab a block, but of course it's not required. Stay strong in the thigh muscles. Resist the urge to just dump into it and let it be a place where you can expand and breathe. Right into side angle pose, with or without a bind. I'm going to go for a bind today because the bind is a nice opportunity to open the shoulders. But you can also do the half bind, right? Or if you have a towel or a strap or any of those props, you can use that to help you get the full bind. From here, release if you have it, and then come into your reverse triangle. Extend through both legs. Take a big side body stretch for your right side and take another couple breaths at your own pace. Man, sometimes I make myself get a little bit out of breath. And sometimes holding these postures for a little bit longer, sometimes it's easier, but sometimes it's harder than flowing through them because we really have to sit in it. Let's take one more inhale. Exhale, shift both hands to the ground. Step back to plank pose and move through your optional flow. Let's meet in downward facing dog in a few breaths. From your down dog, the left leg will reach to the sky, three-legged dog. Step all the way through into your lunge. Drop the back knee down, arms up. Take an inhale. Exhale, interlace fingers behind back. Inhale, pull the knuckles down, lift the chest. Exhale, release the hands to the ground for pyramid, Parsvottanasana. Stay here for the inhale and embrace the exhale. Twisted lizard lunge on your inhale. Shift and twist open. Stay here on the exhale. Stay on the inhale, expand. Exhale, we're headed toward Skandasana, back of the mat. Awareness in every step, warrior three. Shifting the face forward, coming into our balance. Shiva squat, tap the right knee in. Stork pose, bring it all the way up. Warrior three, swing the energy back. Three-legged dog with the left foot threading up to the sky. Side plank on the right hand, keeping the left leg floating. And then from here, try to keep balance. Use the core. Left knee pulls into the chest. Step the left foot all the way forward. And then rotate open into warrior two as the right heel rotates down. Spread the arms. Come back into your breath. Begin to slowly shift into triangle pose, Trikonasana. Hips bump back and feel the left hip really plugging into its socket. And then open. The lower body is our stability so that the upper body can embrace the sensation of twisting open. From here into side angle pose, with or without a bind in the arms. Stay strong in your back right thigh muscles. Use that as an anchor. Then if you're dipping down to the ground, if you're going for a bind, try to see if you can still roll the right shoulder open and reach the crown of the head forward. And if you still have the bind, slowly let it go. Reverse the triangle, and we're going to stay there, embracing the side body opening for a couple breaths. On your next exhale, bring both hands down to the ground, step back to plank, and then move through a flow that will bring you back to downward facing dog. And then as you get back to downward facing dog, lift the right leg to the sky for three-legged dog, and then step the right shin through, coming into half pigeon on the right side. Stay upright for a little bit. I'm going to have some challenges for you, and then we're going to settle into the deep pigeon pose. All right, so we're going to do some oscillating pigeons. And if you've never done these before, they might feel pretty challenging. It's taken me some time to build comfort with these movements. So know that you can use your hands here, but you will see me float my hands just because this is kind of what I'm working on in my personal practice. So oscillating pigeon, we'll take an inhale here. Exhale, slowly lower down. But keep the head up. And then inhale, rise up. Again, option to float the hands. Exhale, lower the chest down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower the chest down. Keep the spine long. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Last one. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, slowly fold. I promise there's a reason for that. That's helping us practice our active external rotation. So I know this is a deep stretch, but what we're trying to do is build control, and we're trying to build muscle activation even in these deep stretches. That's what the rising and lowering does, instead of just folding into a completely passive stretch, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that there's potential aspects of the practice we miss out on by only coming deep into the passive stretch. Anyways, for now, let it be passive. Enjoy it. Find a deep stretch moment. Find a release with the breath. And take a few moments to yourself. And when you feel complete, begin to lift up. And then we're going to wrap the left leg around to the top of the mat, eventually into Gomukhasana with the left leg crossed over. Now, if you have really open hips, you might be able to really just kind of immediately slide into a nice full Gomukhasana. But often for me, it helps to come through tabletop position. And from tabletop, it's a little easier to find the cross of the legs and then sit back with that cross. And maybe you adjust the hips a few times, but embrace the Gomukhasana as a stretch in the hips. And you have the choice to stay here, just breathe for a few moments, or you can twist to the left. I'm going to choose to keep a upright spine, maybe fold forward. But if you want to add the twist in, then go ahead and twist to the left towards your left leg. And you might find some nice opening through the spine. If you're folding forward, try to keep a little bit of length in the spine. Of course, a little bit of rounding is natural at some point. And then we'll begin to shift out of it. So we'll just start to lean forward back into that tabletop. And then go ahead and try to step back into a cross-legged down dog. Just to kind of try that out for a second. The cross-legged down dog. And try to still feel length into the spine. And from here, we'll uncross the legs and we'll step the left leg forward into half pigeon. Switching sides. Once again, before you go ahead and fold right into it, we have our active lifts and lowers. Just a few rounds of those. I promise it's good work. It's good for the hips. So let's take an inhale. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise up. Two more. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, find your full fold. And then embrace the passive stretch. And breathe into it. Find your own center. Begin to lift when you feel complete. And then once again, the right leg will wrap around all the way from behind to out in front of us as we shift into Gomukhasana. Once again, go right into it or come through your tabletop to get more of a full cross in the legs and then sit back. And for those of my friends with tighter hips, you can sit on a block. Elevate your seat is a nice way to make this a little bit more accessible, as well as you can practice this laying on your back and trying to find that same cross of the legs, and you can even bring your hands to your feet. And it was a long time of practice before I could even sit upright with even a little bit of comfort. And even today, after more than 6 years of practicing, trying to get more external rotation in my hips, I can really only sit here for a few moments at a time. And this is a very, very deep stretch for me. I think it's been about 6 years since I've really been working on my hips. I've been practicing yoga for about 10 years. And really the last 5-6 years, really during that time that I started teaching yoga, I really gave a goal to myself to Find more suppleness in the hips, because that was my biggest limitation, is I was strong enough to do a lot of the postures, but my hips were so tight that it made it frustrating, and it made the practice even hurt sometimes. So let me be an example that if you are not where you want to be physically in your practice, with just time, consistency, and patience and compassion toward yourself, you can really get anywhere you want to be. And time is really the most powerful tool. All right, with all of that said, as you start to feel complete in the Gomukhasana, begin to shift forward. And then again, play with the cross-legged down dog. Just see what it's like to do something a little different. Feels a little bit weird, but not in a bad way. Unravel the legs, come into more of a regular down dog. Right leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. Step through warrior two. Open on up. Find some nice depth. From warrior two, take triangle pose once again. From triangle pose, we'll begin to shift forward, trying out balancing half moon. Of course, a block under the right hand is a nice tool, but it's not necessary in order to practice the pose. Everything opens in their opposite directions. And we're still just breathing right into the center of all these different lines of energy. Keep the left toes flexed back toward the shin, and keep your left hand yearning for new space. Keep your right hand reaching to the center of the earth. Take an inhale. Exhale, slowly step back. We're headed all the way back to reverse triangle. So once you land the left foot, straighten the legs once again, and then find a side body stretch. Inhale there. Exhale, hands to the mat to move through your optional vinyasa. We'll meet back in down dog. And so we're slowing the pace here. Practice these poses with a little more attention to the details. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Exhale, step through, come to warrior two. From warrior two, nice and slowly, into triangle pose, Trikonasana. From your triangle pose, slowly inching our way forward into balancing half moon. Embrace the wobbles. Trust all the little muscles in your left foot and ankle to help you stabilize. Option to rotate your gaze forward or up. Try to breathe. And slowly step back. All the way to reverse triangle, shifting the weight towards the back of your space. Inhale there. Exhale, hands to the mat to move through your flow. Let's meet in downward facing dog in a couple of breaths. From down dog, inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, top of the mat. Halfway lift on your inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step the feet back, and flow. Chaturanga to up dog or any other variation. Let's meet in downward facing dog. And then one more time, inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step back, and flow from there. From down dog, inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, top of the mat. Chair pose this time. From chair pose, rise to the toes, sink to the heels. Take a little toe stand. From your little toe stand, embrace the balance. Try to keep lifting through the head. And then from the toe stand, sink all the way down, plop the butt down, and get a few high boat to low boat reps in. just to stimulate the core. We're not going to do this for super long, I promise. Go ahead and switch from high boat to low boat. Do some side to side Savasana twists. And then from the twist, start to do some bicycles. This is just a little quick core spurt. Just one round of each of these, except for the high boats to low boats. Go ahead and begin your second round through, and then eventually come all the way up to standing and into your forward fold. I didn't expect that, huh? Hopefully that wasn't too bad. But again, this class is preparation for the day. That's why we're doing a variety of different movements, because whatever you're doing, it often helps to at least have a little awareness and awakeness in the core, whether it's another physical activity or even just the process of trying to sit up straight in a chair. All right, from here, slowly sink down, drop your knees to the mat. As you drop the knees to the mat, push forward through the hips, through the pockets of your pants, and then start to head towards camel pose. Option 1 for camel is just hands to hips, and just stop right there. Option 2 for camel is to reach the hands back to the heels and embrace the deeper back bend. Either way, the hips are pushing forward, and that's the primary driver of the movement. Hips and thighs forward, and then breathe. Slowly release. Sit down onto the ground. Legs start to shift out in front of you. And the next pose, as a counter pose, will be Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. I really like to do this one with a bolster or 2 blocks or really anything underneath my knees, because the fold feels much more authentic to my body, meaning it's much more of a full fold when my knees are bent and my spine can stay a little bit longer. So when you're ready, sit up tall, try to sit right on the perineum area, sitting bones, and then lean and reach forward. Eventually drop the head into your fold. And then breathe here. It's not just about stretching the backs of the legs. Think about it even more as a back stretch. So as you lengthen forward and then create space through the fold, stretching the space of the shoulder blades, the spine, the back of the rib cage. So direct your breath in that area. Slowly start to lift up. And then we'll lay on our backs. As you lay onto the back, take a few moments in reclined bound angle pose, Supta Baddha Konasana, feet together, knees open wide. And then arms can reach overhead, option to grab opposite elbows to create the connection, not only between the legs, but the arms as well, creating almost like a figure 8 with the body. Breathe into the center of the figure 8, soften a little bit. At this stage of the practice, it's about creating calmness in the mind to complement the calmness that comes into the body through physical movement. And often the calmness of the mind just comes from the breath. The breath is not only something for us to concentrate on, but it's something to help us regulate ourselves. We're going to come into a twist. So you can hug both knees in or just the right knee, your choice. Either way, we're twisting to the left. So legs go out to the left into our twist. I'm going to take a variation where I'm extending the right leg into the twist, just because it gives me a nice stretch into the outer leg as well. Release, come back through center, and of course, we'll make our way to the other side twist. Come back through center and find some space for a Savasana. I'm going to bring the bolster in, and I'm actually going to take my Savasana today in a supported bridge. I'm going to slide my bolster underneath my hips and extend my legs long, but bolster under the knees could be a really nice option. A little pillow behind the head, a little blanket over the body if you're a little cold. Sandbags or something if you want a little bit of weight. Take your time to settle into your space for the Shavasana. We'll have a few minutes here just to completely rest. And begin to slowly shift things around a little bit. Maybe it's just your fingers and toes. Maybe it's the wrists and ankles. Maybe you take a full body stretch, or sometimes it can feel nice to roll over to one side. Either way, start to wake up the body. Go ahead and sit on up when you are ready into a seated position. Try to sit up nice and tall, lifting through the top of the head. Take a full inhale in. Oh my gosh. Isn't that hilarious, y'all? That sneeze really just came out of nowhere. I was gonna have us take a nice deep breath together, and then I'm not even gonna edit that out. That's real life, you know what I'm saying? But let's go ahead and take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more like that. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And I'd love to end the practice with the sound of Om today. You're welcome to join, or of course, you could just listen, but you're in your own space. And if you want, you can also hum along. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and inhale for Om. Om. Om simply being a representation for the union that we can create and exist within in a world that often feels divided. Om being the physical manifestation through the vibration of sound that represents the jewel of universal consciousness, that represents the energy present in the deities and the higher powers that we find faith in. Om being a way to symbolize the interconnectedness between one and everyone else and everything else. We'll close the practice today by bringing thumbs up to forehead, and we'll bow forward, bow into all beings. Thanks everybody for joining. Hope to see you again soon. Peace.